Hello and welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little motivation, a little inspiration, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. My name is Mike. I am from the beautiful state of Virginia, and my gratitude today is the good customer service I experienced yesterday.
Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Earl Rule, hailing from the beautiful state of North Carolina. And my gratitude for today is helping out a friend from yesterday and building more friendships.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jay Anderson from the wild, wonderful state of West Virginia. My gratitude for the day is Earl Rule. Every now and then, isn't it awesome to have someone in your core group that just inspires the hell out of you? Thank you, Earl.
Oh, that's awesome, Jay. I'm Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is new beginnings. One door closes, another one opens, right? Um, Today, Jay Shetty talked about the check-in tool. He was talking about how everybody has ambitions and aspirations, but how often do you actually mindfully check in, right? We have to self-examine ourselves and how to ask ourselves the right questions to enable personal growth, right? He did bring up some questions that will prompt self-examination. Him and his wife do this on a regular basis. They both ask each other, what did you do for yourself today at the end of every day, right? One that he uses for weekly is what big things coming up this week can I help you with? And then for a yearly one, what are your goals for the next 12 months? Now, these are just examples of what works for him and his wife. It doesn't mean it's going to work for all of us, right? But they're just a deliberate part of their growth process. A conscious check-in can reveal what's important to us, right? What's one challenge you took on today if you need motivation? That would be one of the questions you can ask yourselves if you need motivation, right? And then he brought up a quote about there's no foolish questions, but a man that quits asking questions is a fool. Now, I'm not sure if that's exactly how it went, but I'm sure Mike Jones would know for sure. Um, but like in my pastor at church, actually, at the beginning of May, I think he started this marriage and kids and just this thing about how him and his wife do those same type of questions, right? And this is kind of like what Mike and I started doing on our date nights like a while ago. Is just checking in with one another. That's what we use our date nights for, right? I mean, granted, we do have fun, but we do it's a check-in thing where we're checking in with each other because our lives are busy, right? We have kids, we have businesses, we are both pulled in two different directions. So sometimes we meet at the end of the day, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of times we're exhausted and maybe we're not portraying what we actually need, right? So it's just a good habit or good tool to use to actually check in with ourselves and figure out what we really want, right? Because a lot of these times the answers to these questions are going to reveal what's important to us, right? What are you guys' thoughts?
I personally think, oh, go ahead, Mike. You were going to talk. I'll let you go first. All right, you want me to go first? Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Um, I think the check-in tool is very important, not only in our business lives, our career lives, but also in our personal lives. Because sometimes we have to check in to see if we are at our best each and every day. And I think like once a week, I think is a good thing. I mean, that's my opinion on that. It doesn't have to be every day unless it's needed. But they brought up something very interesting. Are we up to our full potential each and every day? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Are we giving our best every day? I know it's kind of hard to say every day because some days you have those days where it's down and it's like, even though you think you're giving 100% a day, but it's just not showing or it's not happening. That's okay. We all have those days. That's when you have to reset, do a check in on yourself. Tomorrow's another day and say, okay, this is what I need to do to make my day better. And trust me, I've had those days too. I mean, you know,
Like what?
uh,
Okay, so Earl, I love what you just said, right? Because a lot of times, if we have, this was me yesterday, okay, guys, I had a really, really bad day yesterday, terrible. I don't feel good, and nothing was going my way, right? It doesn't mean that I didn't do anything to not, progress in my life and my businesses, but it was more so, I just wasn't feeling good. So you're harder on yourselves, right? And a lot of times we don't necessarily see that growth, right? But if we're talking to somebody else, like I brought it to Mike's attention, like I am having today is a bad day, like I'm struggling hard. And he was like a support, right? So sometimes we may just need that one little support or encouragement to say, you're doing it right. Like you're not doing anything wrong. Go
Now,
ahead.
Christine, I want to ask you something. I know you were under the weather yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
I still am, but
you still am. Okay. I mean, you really had no voice to speak of, literally.
yeah,
But was it a combination of you trying to work through it behind your computer, trying to do what it is that you do along
absolutely.
with the health? That's okay. That's when you have to, not only are you doing a check-in on yourself, but sometimes you have to hit the reset button right there. That's a good example of having to take two steps back, self-care, and your work is your work, and sometimes you have to take a mental day from that to reset from that, whether you like it or not. You have to, okay? Because tomorrow's another day. Something could come up here and say, you know what? I could do a better job tomorrow and make up for what I lost. All right. Now, and for everybody watching, they're gonna say, well, I don't have that luxury of doing that. Well, okay. Well, sometimes you
Find
have to do.
time.
Hmm?
Maybe they can find time in their day, right?
Well, you
Like
have to find
take
time
a
to the
lunch
day,
break.
even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's an hour throughout the day. Do a self check-in at lunchtime. Do a self check-in at yourself, saying, "Man, I'm having a bad morning. My boss is an a-hole, and it's just things are just not getting done." And it did at lunchtime. Just calm yourself down. Go to your comfort zone, and get back on it, and say, "All right, halftime's over. Let's go out there and let's get it. Let's end the day on a good note."
Sure.
Better said than done.
Mike?
Think about the alternative too. If you don't check in, if you, I don't know why the song "Cats in the Cradle" come to mind. You live your whole life and you don't know your own children if you're not careful. And that's basically
Right.
the gist of that song. Or
Mm-hmm.
I
Cats in the cradle.
Gary Manilow did one similar.
The man of the moon.
Earl, stick with your day job.
Sing it, sing it. But yeah, and I think Jennifer and I found ourselves doing this when we were both, kids were young. Who's picking up at daycare was probably the most important question we asked each day. But what didn't go much deeper than that, and kind of felt ourselves drifting apart a little bit.
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
happens a lot. Like, because people will, um, it's easy to drift apart when there's kids and jobs and careers and, financial responsibilities everywhere, right? It's so easy to just say, I'm going to stay in my lane, right? And I'm going to stay right here and just keep doing what I'm doing.
And I think one of the biggest challenges people have today, for those in the traveling sales force, or even I'll use truck drivers as an example as well as this, because those guys are sometimes out for months at a time and they don't even see their kids. All right. And that's a hard profession. All right. But the thing is, with those professions, especially for the people, the salespeople that are constantly on a plane making, sales trips. I mean, they're only home once a week, and it's tough. But the thing is, the way you check in on that time, or the way you make it happen, is communication. Thank God for technology. I mean, do Zoom calls with your spouse or your kids. I mean, try to be there when you can. Even if it's like 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day, just let them know they say I love you. All right. I mean, it's a challenge to do it for some people, but if you're trying to remain balanced in your life, that's the only way it's going to happen. I mean, that's the way I see it. Jay, what do you got?
Well, sit down, boys and girls.
Oh boy,
I
here comes the
think
preach.
that this might be one of Jay Shetty's better topics. Uh, I suspect that once we put more thought into it throughout the day, because I'm sure this conversation is going to ring back to us, but the compelling thing here is everything that each one of you three have already said. And there are points within this, and I'll give you an example why I feel that this topic is so strong. Is if it is that we do check in with ourselves and we use this resource that we've just been given and do this, like he said, daily, once a week, quarterly, annually, and it's goal setting to a degree. But like Mike says, sometimes the reverse is we let egos get in the way. We let, and he didn't necessarily use the word ego, but we let ourselves get in the way. Okay. And if we don't take the necessary time to maybe check in uh, as often as we should, then that cats in the cradle paradigm does come into play, because that's what he's suggesting. We are, and Christine, you said this, we're hardest on ourselves. We are our harshest critic, our own self. And like you both, you and Earl said, Christine, is that you might feel that you're having a crappy day and you've done stuff within that day, but because you're your harshest critic, you don't recognize the good that you've really done. Because at that point, your expectations are higher for yourself. That becomes the mind game. This tool, this resource that he's providing us, brings us back down to earth a little bit. And I think it's a very grounding, I think it's a very sound resource or tool, because it also puts perspective in who we are as individuals. We have 4 people on this panel talking today, and all 4 of us are very different. The common threads are larger than what sometimes we even recognize, however. So sometimes it's the common threads that you have to hunt for that makes this work. Mike, you were getting ready to say something. I saw that finger. Go for it.
I was gonna get in there before you shut us down. I felt it was coming on. We know that this is all about communication. What he's saying, checking in with yourself, checking in with your spouse, whatever. There is still, and always has been, a high uh, incident of divorce in this country. Do people fall out of love, or do they fall out of communication?
Communication, all the way.
Yeah, communication.
The thing about it, even in all of our marriages, our life, when did we fall apart? It's
We lost
usually in
communication.
You
communication.
stopped
We lost
communicating.
communication.
Yes. And it's not like you stopped talking, but the things that you were talking about weren't the things that you should have been talking about, right?
Yeah. And sometimes it gets lost in it because your emotions start building up within your own self. And then you
Resent,
start,
distant.
yeah. And then you start creating narratives that never existed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that mind of yours, this beautiful thing inside this head just goes nuts and fires. It's like, there's spark plugs everywhere, and the wire and the firing going to them just is continuous. Guys, this is a hell of a resource. And again, I go back to say the simplicity of how Jay Shetty came across. It's just so understated in terms of the value that this particular headline brings. I mean, it's just stout. And Mike, when you brought up Harry Chafin with Cats in the Cradle, I sat there and was singing that freaking song while Jay Shetty was talking. It's hilarious that you even said that. I was like, what? Again, this is the common threads that the four of us, even though we're very different, there's a lot of common threads that come into play. And sometimes we just have to check in with ourselves. And sometimes, rephrase, a lot of times we need help from other people for us to actually recognize these things.
And Jay, I want to add on one other thing that came to my mind, and I thought about this. Actually, this resonates last night when we were at the men's fellowship. We talk about when we come to a fork in the road or a crossroads. If we have decisions to make, sometimes we have to check in with ourselves to ask ourselves the path that we need to be on to where we're supposed to be. And is it a decision between my spouse, my job, or girlfriend, or partner in my job? Is it sometimes we're making decisions, whatever it is, because we all, and a lot of us watching this video, we have choices we need to make, and that sometimes we have to check in with ourselves before we make a decision on that cross path. Which path I need to take to do the right thing for myself. So I just thought I wanted to bring that up.
Don't be afraid to take the path less traveled by, as what Robert
Exactly.
Frost said.
Right, exactly, and that's what was said last night. One of our guys said that last night. That was one of the things that was discussed. So I wanted to bring that up.
So I wrote something down that Jay Shetty said during his talk. He used this self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Very small phrase, very short, with a hell of an impact within itself. Self-care. And sometimes that's the resource that we need to concentrate on is self-care. And that's what this rabbit hole is. That didn't sound right. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. Hey, folks, it's very obvious we're not licensed therapists. That's not a joke. Anyways, we do get together and listen to the app Calm. Within the app Calm, we listen to Jay Shetty on a morning basis. He provides really just award-winning topics in my mind. That's my opinion. Of course, I am biased. His name and my name kind of sound alike, but we're different, you know. But anyways, please join us on a morning basis.
And folks, if you like our content, please come back to like, share, and subscribe for more of this content. We invite everybody to come back for more, and please enjoy your day. Peace.
Peace.
This is